and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my January wrap up. January was an okay month for me. I had 5 books on my TBR, I DNF'd 2 and read 4, so an okay start I'll say to the year. Not good because that was last year when I read 15 books. But enough about 2022, on to 2023, and here is my wrap up. Before I get into the books I did read, onto the 2 books I DNF'd. I DNF'd these books for the same reason. I just couldn't get into either of them. One of them I'm a bit sad about because I was looking forward to it. The other I kind of guessed it was going to happen. And those books were A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown and The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. Both were sequels, so I kind of wanted to read them. This one I kind of knew I was going to DNF. This one I was gutted. I just think I waited too long to read it, and I have so many books on my shelves that rereading the first book is no priority. Now on to the books I did read, the first being Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I gave this 5 stars. I don't think I could have picked a better book to start this year with. This wasn't high up on my to be read list this year, and then one of my best friends, Sophie, was like, I've read it, the sequel's out this year, I love it, I want to talk to people about it. So me and Ada were like, right, we'll read it and we can talk to you, and I'm so glad Sophie told me how good it was so I could read it. I loved this book. The story was perfectly paced. The characters, despite the fact they were 30 years old in the story, you don't feel you've missed out on those younger years, because yes, it had a tiny bit of an impact, but not much. This was based in a town, I'll say local to me, Hebden Bridge, but there were mentions of Leeds and Manchester and Halifax, all towns I've been to, so I could imagine what it was like when they were naming places, which is always so good. One thing I always have with magic books is, does the magic make sense in the story, in the world? If it doesn't, I struggle to rate more than 3 stars. The magic makes absolute sense. The lore that Juno has created, that you find out about, fits in with the world so much, and it makes sense as to how this magic is created, which is always a good positive. There were a couple of twists that were obvious, however, like other authors, if the twist is obvious but written in a well way, I really don't mind it. And there were some that I didn't see coming, the ending included. The ending! I am a little bit gutted with where I think it could lead. However, I am hoping there is another twist that I cannot see coming for the life of me, and it goes in a better direction, but let's see when the sequel is released later this year. The next book I read was Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber. A week, 4 stars. The story was organic. It grew in an organic way. The authors have quite similar writing styles, where I actually didn't know who wrote which sister's POV until I read the interview questions at the back, which was quite nice. Because I'm not sure if you're not sure, in this book, every other character is from the other sister's POV. My one thing is that nothing happened in here that I didn't see coming. And while it was well written, it was literally a step by step by step sort of book, if that makes sense. Is it disappointing that this wasn't a stronger 4 star or even a 5 star? Yes, although I didn't anticipate it being a 5 star. Even though it is a weak 4 star, I will be picking up a sequel later this year. And the third book I read was Who Did You Tell by Leslie Cara, 2 stars. This was such a disappointment to me. I thoroughly enjoyed Leslie's other book, The Rumour, so I was really looking forward to this one. How to sum it up, because I can't really explain what happens in this book and what I don't really like, because it's one of those books where you know you read it, but you feel like you've read nothing. if that makes sense. I didn't care about the characters. Their red herrings were so obvious, I didn't even, like, in my brain it wasn't a, oh, that could be it, it was a, that's really obvious, ignore that plot point. It got to a point where if it was a plot point where I wasn't really bothered at all, which was a lot of them, I'd skip a couple of pages or skim read like every other word, and well, every other word down half page, and it wouldn't have that much of an impact as to my knowledge of the story because I just saw it all happening. Very disappointing. I will pick up Leslie's next book if she hasn't the book. I think she does, because the excerpt's in the back. But it won't be a high on my list of to be read books when I eventually get it. And then the fourth and last book I read in January was Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. Karen has quickly become one of my automatic buys and one of the few YA authors who is keeping me in YA at this moment. It was such a nice, easy, quick read. Yes, the ending was how I thought it would be after reading 50% of the book. However, the way we got there was so well done that I wasn't bothered about that. The reason it's not a 5 stars, I wish there was 1 or 2 twists less, because it felt like every other chapter there was a twist. So there could have been a couple less, and it made my reading more enjoyable. And also, the romance was very, very obvious. I actually would have preferred if that relationship was just a really strong friendship. Also, if you read any of Karen's books about the Bayview Four, you'll enjoy the little comment I should say about them in here, and I was so giddy when I read that comment. And there you have all 4 books I read in January. A little bit disappointed I didn't read 5, however, it was still an okay start to this year, and I'm doing an okay start to February as well. So, have you read any of these 4? Do you have similar thoughts to me, or do you have any different thoughts and you're like, Michelle, have you considered this? If you have, please let me know. I'm always happy and open to hearing what other people think. If you like this video, please give it a like if you are new to my channel. Hi, my name is Michelle. My reading, like my life, is a chaotic mess. I like to say I read a variety of genres, but mainly it is fantasy or thrillers. But I'm always open to suggestions for other books. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. If you don't want to, that is not an issue. But until the next video,